How are you, sir? Good to see you, my friend. I'll check with you tomorrow. She's saying it's Christmas time. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is in the holiday spirit this evening. It's good to see so many coming out. I'd like to welcome you to the Winslow Township Board of Education's regular school board meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 22nd, 2021. Public notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in notices dated August 27, 2021. Adequate and electronic notice of this public meeting has been provided specifying the time, place, and manner in which this meeting is being conducted. It was advertised in the Courier Post, posted in all schools, the administration office, the municipal building, the library, the Quadruple Center, Edgewood Acres, Elmtown, and the Winslow Township Post Office. And this is our mission statement. The mission of the Winslow Township School District, a large, diverse, and growing community, is to educate all students to become independent, lifelong learners, critical thinkers, and caring and confident members of their community. The district, in partnership with the community, and in a climate of cooperation and mutual respect, will provide an academic environment which values excellence and diversity, encourages students to strive for personal excellence, and assist them in acquiring the knowledge, skills, and attitudes necessary to contribute positively to a rapidly changing world. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Present.
Ms. Draven? Here. Ms. Martin? Present. Ms. McCutcheon? Present. Ms. Moore? Present. Mr. Shaw?
Present.
Ms. Thomas?
Ms. Thomas will be absent.
Thank you. Ms. Peterson? Present. And Ms. Pitts?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Can we now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Shaw?
2021-2022 district goals. Number one, student achievement. Continue to implement best practices for delivering instruction to students utilizing all available and appropriate instructional models. This shall include A, ensuring articulation at all grade levels throughout the district. B, focus on innovative classroom instruction at all grade levels. C, ensuring all students have equal access to equipment and resources needed to facilitate and promote student learning in any setting. D, evaluation and updating of all district programs, including athletics and extracurricular activities. E, accountability of all district staff. 2, continue to foster a positive school environment as conducive to teaching and learning. A, focus on building relationships among staff and families that will result in increased learning and more effective instruction. B, emphasis on collaboration with all district stakeholders. C, promote an inclusive, diverse, and compassionate learning environment. 3, market our strengths and achievements to all stakeholders to increase capacity for greater parent, caregiver, and community support. A, continue our public relations marketing plan. B, continue to work with various advisory committees in the district. C, examine communication methods utilized by these districts.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Moving now, board members, page 2, awards and presentations. Dr. Pussy.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This evening, I have asked our director of choral music to join us. 2-3 weeks ago, he sent me an email indicating to me that 6 of our students at the high school were successful in earning their place on the South Jersey choir. And of course, when we have outstanding achievement by our students, we like to bring them before the board and the community so that they will have an opportunity not only to share with us, so that we can acknowledge them. So tonight I asked Mr. Doheny if he would come and introduce those young people, particularly the ones who were here and who were able to make the South Jersey choir. But he also said that he agreed that they would sing a few Christmas numbers for us this evening. So he said he would bring a few additional students so we would have a complete choir. So at this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Doheny if he would come forward, introduce to us those young people who are here who earned the right to be a part of the South Jersey choir, as well as the other students whom he brought along with him, who will be singing for us. I would like to indicate also that Mr. Doheny said, since we have 6 students who were selected at one time, this is most students that we've had selected at one time. So this is a continuation of what we've been celebrating during the course of our fall season. So without further ado, Mr. Doheny, would you introduce those young people to us, and you can take us over?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's good to be with you. And I just want to say to start that virtual choir was really hard. Virtual choir was really, really hard. I had a lot of kids that really, really tried hard at virtual choir, but it was very difficult. And so it would be an understatement to say that it's good to be back together. It's good to be back in the classroom and back on the stage singing together live, because it's the only real way to do choir. So it just felt really good to do a winter concert last week. And it's just reminiscent of what is almost considered normal. So yes, we had 6 students make South Jersey Chorus this year, and it's the most that Winslow Township High School has had in a very long time, selected in 1 year. So I'm very proud of them. And so I'm going to call out the names of those that are here. We don't have all 6 at the moment, but I would like to recognize Sophia DeChico, Jordan Stork, Olivia Janicki, Gavin Scherzer. And yes, I did run into Dr. Poteet, and he did ask me to bring them along and have them sing. And I said to him, well, I'm going to have to bring a few extra because otherwise Gavin will have to sing both bass and tenor. He's good, and he probably could do it if he tried, but we're going to not force him to do that. So I brought along Kayla Goldsboro, Jalen Mitchell, and Sarah Simmons, and Carly Jordan. And walking in the door is student number 5 of 6 who made South Jersey Chorus, Shiloh Garnett. So Dr. Poteet, how should we do this so that the most people can see us? Should we sing over here?
We can just move the podium back, and you can set the young people right here in this space, and you can direct from the center.
All right, that sounds
That
good.
work for you?
So singers, come on up here.
Let's do this. Joe.
Come to along. So we're going to sing a couple of holiday songs for you. We're going to start with Angels We Have Heard on High. And this is going to feature Carly and Shiloh doing solos for you.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing Lord of things, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strings. Gloria in excelsis Deo. In excelsis Deo.
Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? What that anxiety which inspire heavenly song?
Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Come to Bethlehem and see, in whose birth the angels sing. Come and joy abandon you, was the Lord and newborn King.
Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Singing in the manger laid, will the choirs of angels praise. Mary, Joseph, and glory, while our hearts in love we raise. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria shall cease therein.
Rock, 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 Christmas tree. Rock, 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 Christmas tree. Rock, 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 Christmas tree. Rock, rock, Christmas tree. Rocking around the Christmas tree. At the Christmas party. Rock, rock, rock. This is the one where you can see every couple trying to stop. Rocking around the Christmas tree. At the Christmas spirit ring. Rock, rock. One last song, pumpkin pie, and we'll do some caroling. Now you will get yourself a children's home feeling. When you hear voices singing, let's be jolly next. Those with bells of holly. Holly, rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. One dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way. But now you will get children's home feeling. Voices speaking, let's be jolly then. Those with bells of holly. Holly, 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 holly. Rocking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned rock. Christmas tree, rock, Christmas tree, rock, Christmas tree.
Students that were accepted into chapters, of course, and these other fabulous students that came out to celebrate tonight. We really appreciate your support for the arts. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Those students who are here, I think it's five, would like to take a picture.
Yeah.
Looks like, Mr. Morella, here this evening, I think we've got 6 just today. Traditionally, when we bring out young people for any special team, we like to take pictures to put on questions.
Great.
Okay? So if you get those 6 in the picture, we'll take them. We'll just slide right over here.
All right.
You get on one end, I'll go on the other. Just go down to the page and we'll do this. Just go ahead and go send pictures of these so we can get sure that the names are correct.
Thank you.
Madam President, at this time I have 2 acknowledgements that I would like to make. First, I would like to divert your attention back to our website. Maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, we placed on our website that several schools in the Winslow Township School District competed in the Climate Challenge. The Climate Challenge, let me get my glasses over so I can read just a statement for you. The Climate Challenge, this is the inaugural year, this is the first time, and this challenge was held with all the school districts in the state of Jersey. Of course, there are 7 counties. And as part of the inaugural year, and I quote, of this program, local student teams were tasked to developing and executing a school or community-based climate action project and creating a digital story/video to accompany the project. Student team winners and their teacher mentors were recognized at a virtual award ceremony hosted by the Drumthorpe Foundation with New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy. This was also sponsored by the Atlantic City Electric, Exelon, Young Factor Foundation, and Sustainable Jersey. I want you to know at this time that we had 3 teams compete. There were 2 categories. There was a high school category and there was a middle school category. Students in grades 6 through 12 were able to participate. We, as the high school, Winslow Township's team, members of our environmental club participated as a team. And in the high school category, Winslow Township High School won first place. Second place in the high school category, representing Salem County, was Prince Grove High School. And the third place was Clearview Regional High School, representing Gloucester County. In the middle school category, first place was Atlantic City School District, of course representing Atlantic County. Second place was Winslow Township Middle School, representing Camden County. And third place was Winslow Township School number 5, representing Camden County. We almost swept in the middle school category. But I just want to reiterate again that as we continue and we encourage our teachers to allow our young people to compete on every level and in any category, so that we can have an opportunity to give our young people exposure. And as I mentioned at our last board meeting, our young people are competing across the state in various categories and are doing a tremendous job and excelling at a very high level. I also want you to know that I received an email this week from one of my colleagues, and I'll just read that to you. And it didn't only come to me, it went to every school district, every charter school in Camden County. And it read, "Dear colleagues, looks like Winslow represented their district and our county well. Congratulations, Major." And that just goes to show you that people are listening and looking at the achievements across the county, across the state. And I want you to know that Winslow Township School District is representing us extremely well. Now, we do not take credit. I want to make that very clear. I'm not standing here taking credit for the achievements of these young people. We give those students the credit. We give the parents the credit. The only thing we do as a school district is congratulate and thank those parents for partnering with us and giving us an opportunity to develop and mold these young people so that they can develop their skills and be the best they can be, particularly upon graduation. So I just want to continue to acknowledge now the next school board meeting, because there's a lot more that goes into this. We're going to ask the high school team, the middle school team, and school number 5 team to come before us and explain to us what was their project. Because climate change today in this country is very, very important. And I think it's important that you hear from young people so they can explain to you what their project was. All right? My last acknowledgement is because in addition to acknowledging our students, we also like to acknowledge our staff. I want you to know today that Mr. Jack Mills has completed his requirements for the degree of Doctor of Education Leadership. And as of today, I am publicly presenting to you Dr. John Mills. Dr. John Mills defended his dissertation about a week or 2 ago successfully. He's now a graduate of Holy Family University with a degree in doctorate degree in education with education leadership as a concentration. So Dr. Mills, I wouldn't let this opportunity pass without taking a picture, but also, ladies and gentlemen, most of you, if not all of you, know Dr. I have to get used to calling Dr. Mills, but you know John Mills, and no, Jack Mills, but I call him John. You know Jack Mills is a great individual, hardworking individual, represents the school district in the best possible way, always makes himself available, but more importantly, he's a good person. Great person. And I told him it would be an honor for me to acknowledge him tonight, but we wouldn't let this opportunity pass without further. So Dr. Mills, would you give me the honor? Dr. Cardamone, would you join us? Yes. Come on, Dr. Cardamone. We're going Dr. Mills want to make sure he call his boss over. So we want to do first. Ms. Boyle? I think Dr. Mills would like to have this picture for his collection. Yeah. You only live once, Dr. Mills. And take your picture. Congratulations. Come right here. See, Dr. Mills, if you want to wait until tomorrow for you to say something to him about that. He knows how this works. He knows how it works.
Had a little something to do with encouraging and helping and supporting Dr. Mills. So I'm going to ask Dr. Mills if you would like to have a picture with the school board.
Absolutely. It's gonna be a 2022 Christmas party.
Here.
Are you saying you don't want me in the shop today? You know, maybe you
No, I didn't either.
Thank you, Wondering. Thank you.
Okay, Winslow is on the rise. Moving now, board members, correspondence, number 14.
Madam President, there's no correspondence.
Thank you. At this time, board, I'm asking for a motion to approve the minutes from our last board meeting, our regular meeting that was held December 8th, 2021, open session. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of amendment for regular meeting.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredger. Any further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredger?
Yes.
Ms. Martin?
Yes.
Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Moving now, asking for a motion to approve the minutes of our regular board meeting held December 8th, 2021, closed session. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for approval of our closed session December 8th, 2020.
Then second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dredger. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dredger?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McClendon?
Yes.
Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Schultz?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you. Moving now, board members, to our committee reports. Would there be a report out of our athletic committee?
I have an update from, Mr. Whitaker. We did not hold an official meeting. Winter season sports review for 2021-2022. Girls track and field, season is off to a fantastic start. The young ladies seem to have picked up where they left off 2 years ago prior to COVID-19. Below is a list of accomplishments so far from the Olympic conference meet. First place 4x400 team, Cameron Holmes, Ava Milner, Selena Daniel, and Alana Henry. First place shuttle hurdle team of Cameron Holmes, Janelle Marshall, Jay James, Kaya Robinson. First place sprint medley team of Jay James, Brielle Brown, Janelle Marshall, and Victoria Campbell. When the young ladies traveled to New York, they had a very impressive showing. The team finished second in team competition. Freshman Layla Henderson finished seventh in the 55-meter dash. Freshman Ava Milner and Layla Robinson placed third and fifth in the 300-meter run. Freshman Layla Robinson placed fifth in the long jump. Jay James ran a personal best of 7.32 in the 55-meter dash and placed second. Brielle Brown placed seventh in the 55-meter dash and eighth in the 300-meter dash. The 4x200 team of Brielle Brown, Janelle Marshall, Cameron Holmes, Jay James placed first, running New Jersey number 1 and U.S. number 12 time of 1:44.62. Victoria Campbell placed seventh in the 1,000-meter run. Jordan James placed second in his triple jump and third in the long jump, jumping a personal best of 16.6. The 4x200 team and Jordan James all qualified for nationals. Boys track and field. During the Olympic conference meet this past Friday, the boys had a great showing. Junior Bellis Oliver tossed the number 1 throw in Group 3 with a heave of 48 feet, 3.5 inches. The team of Junior Trumpkin, Don McBassey, Wayne McBadden, and Yuka Chua Lomba took second place in the distance medley relay and first place in the 4x800 with the same team, which placed Yuka Chua Mansur took first in the 4x400. The boys looked to get back at it after the break when they returned to Tom River on the 27th and 29th of December. The girls basketball. The girls are off to an 0-2 start, young but talented. We lost two to the teams that made the playoffs last year, but by single digits, and are just the beginning of this group. As they continue to work to practice, their skill level and ability to work with each other will start to allow them to grow and get this much needed victories. This is boys basketball. The season is off to a good start. Thus far, these young men are sitting at 1-1, losing to a Shawnee team by 12 and defeating Timber Creek in overtime. There's great promise for our teams competing in a tough conference. These young men are working hard daily Just like most of the teams, once they learn each other, they'll learn to gel together. They will give a lot of teams a hard time moving forward. Keep an eye out on them. They're athletic, fast, and loving the game. Wrestling. The wrestling team looks good so far, although they're losing because of the lack of participants at the school. However, from the guys that are playing, you might see 3 or 4 of them sitting at top three districts in the sectionals towards the end of the season. This past Saturday, Sean Berkeley took 2nd overall in his weight class during the tournament. It's exciting to watch them work. Middle school, girls basketball. Winslow Township Middle School girls basketball season is off to a great start. We have a total of 16 awesome players. Practice is held Monday through Thursday immediately after school dismissal. We have had 3 games so far, 2 wins and 1 loss. Our next game is Wednesday, or it was tonight, against Holiday Ford Middle School in Pembroke. Boys basketball, Winslow Township Middle School has had a steady start to the 2021 basketball season with 1 loss. We won our first game against Thomas E. Harrington Middle School, our season opener. Daily, we practice skill development and teamwork. We look forward to our next game against Holiday Ford Middle School. Middle school wrestling. Middle school wrestling has started with a lot of eager participants. We have had strong wrestlers that compete each match for a win. We will continue to work as we get stronger and learn more techniques. Each match teaches us something new and pushes us to grow and get better as a team. That concludes the update.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Board members, any questions or comments with regards to our athletic report? Moving now to our our education committee. Would there be a report out of our education committee?
No report, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Moving now to our marketing committee. Would there be a report out of our marketing committee?
Yes, Madam President. Board members, you did receive, as emailed out, and it's also in the folder, the marketing, community tech rally minutes from December the 1st and the second meeting that we held on December 10th. So hopefully you've read that over your leisure at your leisure, and then any questions, definitely ask me to our report. The marketing team also met this evening at 6 p.m. in the middle school library. Meeting called to order at 6:06 p.m. All in attendance was Mr. Blake, Ms. Moore, Mr. Davis, and myself, Ms. McClendon. This meeting was kind of just to a recap of the community pep rally that we held on December the 12th. One of the things that we took away was that it was great bringing our Winslow teams, our winning teams, all in one place at one time to celebrate the greatness of our students, acknowledging what a great fall season we have had ever since our middle school took home the green ribbon. So we've been riding this wave ever since. And so one of the things that we noticed that a lot of the community organizations were definitely glad to be included and felt included within Winslow by us celebrating our winnings. I think that we all had a great time. We had an excellent DJ. There was moments when we looked around and we saw many heads bobbing to the music. Those who we haven't seen reacted to that in a while, but it was great just having that atmosphere out there. Definitely want to thank everybody who participated on the pep rally team, Coach Pino, Coach Brown, Coach Horn, Coach Scott, Mr. Parkhurst, Ms. Lee, Mr. Whitaker, Mr. Varela, and Mr. Shaw. Thank you guys for working with us, because there were some things that, of course, we don't know, and having all those minds together collaborating, we were able to determine the best date that will work for everyone, but also what would you like to see in a pep rally? How can we honor this great achievement among winners? We also want to thank Mr. Ray Watkins, who represented the township that gave remarks. And also, I know Dr. Booty, I called you on this, but I just want to thank you because you did a fantastic job with your, I don't even want to say it was a speech, but it was more of, what's the word I want to say? motivation, but also just sharing what we do here at Winslow, you know, and keeping our kids here within our district. And I think that your message touched home with a lot of people. One of the things that we also gathered is when we looked around at all the different teams, especially in our community, you know, for me, it was great to know that a lot of these coaches were Winslow graduates. Those are one of the things that we look at. We always talk about giving back to your community. And it was great to know that these coaches that are working with our youth, whether in school or out of school, represent Winslow. They are Winslow graduates. So that was definitely very informative because for me, I was not aware that these are Winslow graduates. But it just allows us to look around us and look at the people that are feeding positive energy into our young people. And so, we want to thank Ms. Carly Jordan. She was here this evening with the choir. She sung our Star Spangled Banner, did an excellent job singing a cappella. For those of you who have never sang a cappella, it can be challenging when there's no music to keep you on key, but she did a fantastic job, so I just wanted to acknowledge her. Also want to thank the Mullers, Coach, the owners, Ms. Tamara Hill and Mr. Donnie Hill. Thank you so much, and also your Muller cheerleaders. These young ladies performed like they were high school cheerleaders. At one point, they had the whole crowd singing points of their cheers they were doing, so they did an excellent job. And Mr. Blake, I can't remember the age group of the Muller cheerleaders that performed. Do you know the age group?
I'm gonna say 5 to about 14.
So 5 to 14. Some of them were just as small, just half my height, but they did a fantastic job. And so I want to commend them for that. Also, thank you to EFP Football. The owners is Mr. Darius Harrison and Christina Harrison. Thank you for participating with us. I think their young people enjoy being on the big field. To them, that's a big field. Our high school stadium is a big field for them, and they were excited to be there. I also want to thank Mr. Matthew Shingle. We had the Cyclaville Sun newspaper come out and cover our entire event. And so I know there was a lot of footage, a lot of pictures that were taken. So, you know, the one thing that the marketing team focuses on is getting Winslow on the map, telling the good that's going on in our community as well as within our school. So many times we hear of negativity, and sometimes that shadows, that becomes the forefront news of what Winslow is about. But when we share excitement and positivity and good things that are happening, we want everyone to know that Winslow has a lot of great things to offer. And then there's times that we come together as a community and we celebrate all together. As moving to new business, one of the things we talked about, Dr. Cote, and you kind of touched on it when you talked about our schools achieving first, second, and third place with the New Jersey Sustainability Science Club. This is just something we're putting out as an FYI, something that the marketing team will probably continue to give food for thought, but we thought about how about doing a community outside STEAM fair. We haven't had a STEAM fair among the schools for the last 2 years. Just about 2 years. And so in the springtime, what about coming together and bringing everyone and having a huge STEAM fair? I'm not sure exactly where on the grounds, but to do an outside one to share with the community. And sometimes people don't know what we're doing, or they think that we don't have a STEAM program, but we have an excellent STEAM fair. And every time I talk to people, I always let them know about our greenhouse sitting on the middle school. So very impressive. And lastly, just want to thank the marketing team. It has been a great year for us. You know, we have taken many steps and strides. The first thing we did was the town hall meeting where we had Dr. Cote doing Kahoot for the first time ever with the community. So we started off with that, and then we ended with our Women's History Month, and we've kept expounding on those things. And so we've constantly stayed busy, but also stayed to the focus of the mission, and that was continuing to put Winslow out there, either through Facebook, our social media. And if anybody didn't see our Winslow Facebook page, we just spotlighted our honorable students for the first marketing period. So, we have definitely made many strides over the year to get the ball rolling in so many different areas. So I want to thank Mr. Blake, Ms. Moore, Mr. Davis, because I know sometimes, we have Mr. Davis because he works for us, works from the administrative point to kind of help us where we need to be at when we're planning certain things. So definitely a great group of people to work with some creative minds, and hopefully moving into January, marketing will continue to stay on the focus of what we've been doing over this past year. Dr. Gucci, thank you for working with us, because I know I shift and move a lot. And sometimes I have a A, a B, and a C plan. So thank you for working with us to get things accomplished. Ms. Peterson, we want to thank you because you worked behind the scene with us. There were things that we needed some assistance with, and you were ready to roll your sleeves up and work with us. So we thank you as well for your help. Our meeting concluded at 6:42 p.m. And the next meeting, I guess, will be determined in January. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McClendon. Very comprehensive report. Would there be any questions or comments?
I don't know, Mrs. McClendon said herself, sure, she said A, B, C, she forgot D, E.
Mrs. Spitz?
Yes.
Can I just say something? I just want to thank Ms. McClendon for taking our marketing committee to new heights, but where it hasn't been in a very, very long time. Because our marketing committee is out of this world from where it was when I came on board. So kudos to you. What a great job you did this past year.
Thank you, Mr. Scholl.
Moving now to our operations committee, would there be a report out of our operations committee?
And I just started this.
Moving on to our policy committee, there is a report from our policy committee. I believe, board members, that the copy of the minutes were sent to you via the email, so I'll just briefly go over it. The policy committee held a virtual meeting on December 16, 2021 at 4 p.m. to discuss and recommend 3 policies and 1 regulation for first reading at the December 23rd, 2021 Board of Education meeting. Members present were Mr. Madrid, board member, Ms. Rita Martin, board member, Ms. Cynthia Ward, board member, Dr. Dorothy Cardinal, Assistant Superintendent, and myself, Cheryl Pitts. Policies and regulations discussed, there were 3. Policy number 1648.13 that dealt with school employee vaccination requirements. Policy 2425 that dealt with emergency virtual remote instruction program. And policy and regulation number 5751 that dealt with sexual harassment of students. And I believe that Dr. Carpenter will give just a brief explanation, informational comment on that one. All policies are mandated. Policy number 3164, 8.13, and policy number 2425 are new policies. Policy 1648, which is the school employee vaccination requirements. Policy 2425, which is the emergency virtual remote instruction program. And policy regulation number 5751, which is the sexual harassment of students. Those are the 3 policies. At this time, I'm going to ask Dr. Carpenter if she would just give just an expanded explanation, I believe, on the policy number 5751, Dr. Carpenter.
Yeah, so policy 5751 was an existing policy on sexual
Dr.
harassment.
Carpenter, you need a mic?
So policy 5751 was an existing policy on sexual harassment. So this comes as a result of Title IX, which deals with athletes. So it primarily applies to middle and high school students. So the policy was revised to clarify roles and positions and to clearly define the term, the meaning for sexual harassment by staff members, other employees, and third parties. So the challenge with the policy is that it really does not address issues that may arise at the elementary level. So when there are cases there, we've been advised that we should be communicating with our solicitor to see how we should proceed. So the biggest change with the policy is that the roles were clearly defined. Before, there were no defined roles. It was that we had a policy and that we were mandated to investigate any claims of sexual harassment. So now the policy outlines those roles. So we are required now to have a Title IV coordinator, a investigator, that's the person who is responsible for the initial investigation, a decision maker, and that person is responsible for looking at all of the information that was presented and to make a determination as to whether or not the person who has been alleged to have committed the crime is actually responsible for that incident. And then we have an appeal officer. So there's always the opportunity for a person who is being charged with something, who should be the opportunity to have an appeal. So two of those positions can be held by the same person. The Title IV coordinator can also be held as the investigator, but cannot serve as the decision maker or the appeal person. So the appeal person should be at the central level office. The other positions can be held at the district level. Are there any questions?
I just want to clarify, from Title IX, not Title IV.
I'm sorry,
Title IX,
Title IX. Did I say something different?
it's in Title IV.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's because I deal with it regularly too.
I just want
Thank you, Dr. Carter. The policy meeting ended at approximately 4:18, and going forward, the next policy committee meeting will be determined at a later time. Moving now to the Citizens Advisory Committee, with their report, Ms. Martin.
Or coming in public comment.
I'm sorry, Ms. Martin.
Will be coming in public comment.
Moving down, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the superintendent's report that begins at the middle, page 2, and continues through to the bottom of page 5. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved to approve of the superintendent's report, item A through D, 8 through 5.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dre. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dre? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Crishola?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms.
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, I'm at the top of page 6. I'm asking for a motion to approve the business administrator board secretary's report that begins at the top of page 6 and continues through to the middle of page 9. Is there a motion?
Peterson moved for the approval of the business administrative board secretary report, A and D, down on page 6 through 9.
Second motion.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Dre. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Dre?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Abstain. Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Blake?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, I'm asking at this time a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears.
Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Blake?
Yes.
Motion has carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving now, board members, to our agenda. I believe it's in our folders, and as usual, I'll give us at least maybe 1 or 2 minutes for those of us who may not have an opportunity to read through. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve one item and the superintendent's report as it appears on page 1. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of the superintendent's report, item A, 1 through 2, down on page 1.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Peterson, second by Mr. Redmond. Would there be further questions or comments? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Shirley? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Strong?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion is carried.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Moving down, board members, I'm asking for a motion to approve the personnel report as it appears on our agenda. Beginning with the middle of page 1 and moving on to the bottom of page 2. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of personnel report, item A, 1 through 5, down on page 1 and 2.
Redmond, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Trey. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Shirley? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Shaw? Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion.
Thank you. Moving down, asking for a motion to approve the business administrator or secretary's report as it appears on our addendum. The bottom of page 2 continues through to the middle of page 3. Is there a motion?
Peterson move for approval of business administrator report, secretary, A, 1 through 3, down on page 1.
Redmond, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Trey. Would there be further comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Glenn?
Yes.
Ms. Shredden?
Yes.
Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McClendon? Yes. Ms. Moore?
Yes.
Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Pitts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Moving down, board members, returning to our regular order of the agenda. We are at the Open Public Records Act. Ms. Porter?
Yes, Madam President, between the period of December 3rd, 2021 and December 16th, we received a response to one request is from Ms. Gloria Fairway. She requested COVID-19 funding document prepared and sent. Requested.
Okay, thank you. Moving now, board members, to old business. Would there be any old business that you would care to discuss at this time? Thank you. Moving now, board members, to new business. And before we go to new business, I would just like to take a minute and congratulate 2 of our school board members for significant achievements. One would be Ms. Peterson, our Vice President, who received her pin from the New Jersey School Board Association for 10 years of service on the school board, and also received her certification. So congratulations, Ms. Peterson. And the second congratulations goes to Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw has completed the requirements, and he has been certified as a master school board member. Congratulations, Mr. Shaw. I've always felt that as board members, we sit very often and we approve or disapprove staff, and we require that staff come to us with requirements and certifications, and it just makes sense that as board members that we would step up and also get our certifications. So I'm very pleased to present that these certifications to let you know that we're doing what we're supposed to do also. Any further new business at this time? We'd just like to remind all of our board members again, December 31st is coming quickly, and we have to do our board self-evaluation. Just a reminder.
I didn't forget. I was going to do it in information.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Go. So that's any new business, further new business? No.
Well, the other thing was that we were going to have ethics training that will be set up for the year. And Ms. Pitts didn't have herself under that, but she was also recognized for 15 years being on the board.
Okay, Ms. Williams. Informational.
That was it.
That was it? Okay. Dr. Patine, any informational?
Yes, I have several information items this evening. Before I do my first one, I'd like to pass this information out to the board members so they can have it in front of them. And if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to address those questions. Yes, I think I did this one. I'm sorry. Mr. Davis, I have one of you and Dr. Buckman. Are there any others? Everyone has one? Members of the board, ladies and gentlemen of the community, I have the results to the uniform dress code policy. As you know, we placed on our website the survey for parents to go to our website and vote on whether or not they would want to have uniforms in the 22-23 school year. And at this time, the community has spoken. We had 1,711 votes cast. There were 675 yes for 39.5%. There were 954 no's for 55.7%. And there were 82 neutrals for 4.8%, which is 100%. I will post this information tomorrow morning on our website. I will make this information available to all building principals so that we can post it on your website also. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, are there any questions in reference to the uniform dress code policy?
I have a question.
Yes.
So the total number was only 1,700.
Yes.
So we have over 4,000.
Yes, but it's not, yeah, it's not equivalent like 4,000 parents because you have 4,500 students. We have parents, of course, with multiple students. 1,700 is almost 50%.
Okay, so that was my next question. So
Yes,
you
about
said
50%.
a good chunk of responses.
Yes, absolutely. In any type of survey, if you get 30%, which is a random sample, which would be good, we exceed that. I felt 1,700 votes were more than a representation for us to move forward. So at this point, it's just a matter of us making sure that the community is aware of it, and we just move forward. And I think that was our objective, to take this issue back to the community and let the community decide on which way we're going to move forward. And the numbers speak for themselves. Any other questions?
I just want to comment, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I did put out a travel reminder for parents for the winter break. It's important that we all keep in mind that the COVID-19 virus is still out there. As a matter of fact, it is moving and spreading rapidly across the state of New Jersey as well as the entire country. So we want to make sure that the parents were reminded again that if they want to travel outside the state of New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Delaware, that upon their return, their child will have to quarantine. But in addition to that, my next statement was that we modified our quarantine requirements because we received new information from the New Jersey Department of Health, as well as the CDC. And the modified quarantine requirements are no longer 14 days for a person who may have become a close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. It's now 10 days or 7 days with a negative COVID test result, collected at 5 to 7 days, which means that if you were considered a close contact and you were sent home, you have to wait at least 5 days before you test. But within that 5 to 7 day period, if you have a negative test result, you may return to school on the 8th day. Right? Now, we do know that one of the concerns at this point was the fact that many of those young people, and you have to be asystematic, meaning you have to say, if you're asymptomatic, you take the test comes back negative, after the 7th day or the 8th day, you can return to school. What we have been told, of course, from the Department of Education and the New Jersey Department of Health is that we want to try to keep the young people in school as much as possible. So those are the new guidelines. I have revised our safe return plan. It is on our website. It is also indicated each time there's a revision to that plan. It's in red. And if you go to our plan, all the new revisions are also in red. So if you read it, anything in red means it's been updated. This information has been shared and provided to our building principals and school nurses, so we're all on the same page. All right? Any questions in reference to the modifications of our quarantine requirements as it pertains to COVID-19?
That's the other question. If the virus continues to go upwards, will we go for the 2 weeks after winter break? Is that a possibility?
Well, that is not a decision that will be made at the building level. Coincidentally, and I don't think it's coincidental, I know I've read some articles where a couple of schools went full remote for the remainder of the holidays. Today, we received a broadcast from the New Jersey Department of Education making it very, very clear. So I don't know what happened in those schools up north, but the broadcast from the Department of Education made it very, very clear. You do not have the authority to close your school unless the Department of New Jersey Department of Health, or let's say in our county, the Canyon County Department of Health, make that recommendation, and that recommendation must be submitted to the county office that represents the Department of Education, and then that decision is made. It is not a local decision. The governor has already made it clear to us that he's going to maintain the mask mandate. However, he does not intend to close schools. Our health department has made it very clear to us that they do not intend to close schools. The Secretary of Education for the United States of America, Dr. Corona, made it very clear in an email today to all of us that they do not intend to close schools. We'll keep those schools open. So it's going to be a drastic surge or spike to the point where we have no choice. Then the health department, in concert or with the consideration from the Department of Education before schools are closed. I wanted to say all that because it was important that since we are seeing the spike and school districts are taking the liberty to close schools, they want to put a pause on that and let us make it very clear to us that before those schools are closed, there are certain steps you must take. Now, they don't have a problem with classroom by classroom, young people receiving remote instruction by classroom, but in order for you to close down an entire school or entire school district, there are steps you must take. And at this point, we're being told that closing the school or closing the school district is a last resort, and it's going to take a lot in order for that to happen. Now, mind you, and I need to also make this very clear. All of us know that the entire state right now is in high. The Omicron virus is more contagious than the Delta variant, and it is spreading across this country and this state like wildfire. 78% of all cases now in the state of New Jersey and across the country is from Omicron variant. We are in a wait-and-see situation. They anticipate 2 weeks after the holidays that there's going to be another spike because people are continuously going to be meeting and not following safety protocols and that sort of thing. We have not, as a district, pushed vaccinations and things of that sort because I believe that that is a personal decision that a parent has to make. But the science is saying to us, until you are vaccinated, you will not be able to contain the spread of this virus. 98% of the students in our schools are not vaccinated. Then the possibility of this spread continue in our schools as well as all the schools across the country, that is inevitable. So at this point, we're in a wait and see mode. We as a district are going to do everything we can to keep our staff and students safe. We're going to keep the schools open. But medically, if we reach a point where that decision has to be made, then we will, of course, include the health department and the county office who represents the New Jersey Department of Education. That's pretty much where we are, Mr. Gray. And in as much as that was part of my presentation, you asked the question, so I won't have to do that anymore. That's pretty much where we are. All right? The school will remain open until we're in a situation where we have no choice but to close. Okay? Any questions in reference to that information? As you know, last year in the state of New Jersey, we did not have a state assessment. We were given permission by the federal government to implement our own test, which is Start Strong. That test was administered this fall. We have the results of our fall Start Strong assessment. We will be mailing out individual assessment results to parents probably mid-January with information explaining to the parents what those test scores look like and what they mean. We are required to have a district presentation, which I will do probably the first board meeting in February. It gives the parents an opportunity to review their test results. If they have any questions or concerns, I want to attend that board meeting. I'll be more than happy to address them. So the district presentation will look at the entire district as a whole. Schools 5, 6, middle school and high school were the only schools that were part of that assessment. The lower elementary schools were not included. This does not mean or does it eliminate the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, which is the state assessment that will be administered this spring. But I think there's a lot that needs to be shared with the community as well as yourselves, so that we have a clear understanding as to what the Start Strong or this assessment means. And it's pretty much to let us know where we are, how much learning loss is taking place during the pandemic, and what steps we need to take to move our young people forward. All right? Any questions in reference to that information? Ms. McClendon already mentioned that the principal's honor roll for the schools 5, 6, middle school, and high school on our Facebook page. Today, at the request of several of my parents, wanted to know whether or not we were going to continue with their process as we started last year. So we will continue to put that information on the website so the parents and the community can see. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to wish everyone happy holidays. I'm asking everyone, of course, to please be safe because the COVID-19, the Omicron variant, Delta variant is still there. They're continuing to spike across the country and the state of New Jersey. We have the highest numbers today in the state of New Jersey for COVID cases than we've had since last January. So ladies and gentlemen, please be safe and enjoy your holidays with your families, and we'll see you in the new year. Thank you very much. Madam President, that concludes my information items.
Thank you, Dr. Fisher. This time, board members, we're moving on to our public comment portion. The Winslow Township Board of Education, I guide the input of citizens in in making important decisions that affect the children of our community. We also believe in the rights of citizens to observe our board meetings, to ensure that all citizens have the opportunity to attend school board meetings and offer comment, and to ensure that the board can conduct the important business of the district. We ask that speakers follow these guidelines for making public comments. The board president or board secretary will recognize those individuals in attendance who wish to make comment. Please respect these following procedures. 1, all members of the public attending school board meetings must treat each other and the board with respect. Number 2, kindly state your full name and address. Number 3, please limit your comments to 4 minutes. Number 4, please submit your questions and additional questions to the Board of Education with your name, address, and telephone number where you can be contacted. Your questions will be answered within a reasonable amount of time. And number 5, individuals offering citizen comment are not permitted to make personal attacks on any district employee, board member, other testifier, or members of the public. At this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into public comment portion.
Peterson, move to open public comment.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Drayton. All in favor? Any nays? Thank you, Ms. Boyle.
Mr. Ian Moreno.
Good evening, everybody. Ian Moran, 231 Seabrook Road. First of all, I'd just like to start by thanking you all for all the hard work you do over the year. You all volunteer your time freely to work really hard for the benefit of our children and our wider community. It's very much appreciated. I'd also like to specifically thank Ms. McClendon for all the hard work she's done on the board. She'll definitely be missed, and I really hope that you'll run at the first opportunity. I'm mainly here as the chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee. I spoke with Ms. Martin about providing a report of our most recent meeting. And we discussed 2 main things. The first thing was that we surveyed the members of the committee to ask about their experience over the course of the year, to try and determine what we did well and maybe what we could do better. And largely the response from the members of the committee were positive in that they felt the committee worked well. There's only one area where there was a feeling of a disconnect, and that was in terms of ideas or suggestions that were brought by the committee, whether or not action was taken or whether or not they went anywhere. But through a discussion that we had with Ms. Pitts and Ms. Martin, it was very clear that really what we were looking for was more feedback in terms of what was being suggested. So we agreed a good route for the future of making sure that we come back to these items and we find out whether or not it will be discussed in subcommittees or by the board and how we move forward with these items. So I thought that was a really positive outcome from the survey and will work well for the future of the committee. The other main thing that we discussed was over the course of the year we talked about times when we brought issues to the committee and really it was an individual problem for a parent, and we discussed how we might better help those parents within the community. So we developed a suggestion of a Winslow parent support group, and really it's there to help any parents that are having problems navigating the school system. They may be new to the school, they may have language difficulties or language barrier, or they may just not have a good experience with a particular school. So we're trying to think about ways that we could help those parents. And what we thought about is having a support group where we can encourage parents that have already gone through the system and know all the different procedures and know how to navigate, and they can act as mentors for these parents. So we're looking to recruit parents and have this as a parent-led group to be those mentors for members of the community. So we're planning to recruit a group of parents, provide training for them, and then have a pool of mentors available for anybody in the community that feels that needs assistance. And Those volunteers, really, it's to work in partnership, even though it's going to be parent-led, it's to work in partnership with the school district to make sure that everybody understands the rights and responsibilities of the parents, and they can make sure that they are successful for their child. So it's in the interest for both the district, for the children, for the parents, and for the community. Our next steps will be to, as I said, recruit people. We need to look at providing trainings. We need to develop training policies, and we would love the support of the district and the administration to develop that training to make sure that the parents are giving the correct advice. And then also we need to look at evaluating it as we go along to make sure that it's working and it continues success. So the main thing as I said, we want it to be parent-led, but we want to work in partnership with the school district and make sure it's a success for everyone. Really, this is just formalizing something that already happens in the township. There's a wonderful group of people already that really give their time and will always offer to help somebody in need. And we're looking to try and formalize that system to make sure that we give the best assistance possible. So that's the idea. If anybody has any questions, we have to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Moran. I think this would be a good time to remind everyone again that the board has put out applications for anyone who would like to join the Citizen Advisory Committee. And it's posted on our website. Simply complete the tear-off and have it into the district by December 31st.
Yes, I would definitely encourage anybody to apply and be interested.
Thank you, Mr. Moran.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Ms. Pitts? Yes.
For those applications, someone had asked me this. I know it's stated to either email them to Ms. Martin or mail them into the district office. Since the district office will be closed during that time, is there still a drop box outside where you could put things? Just in case somebody wanted to drop it off.
There's a drop
The
box.
drop box is still there.
There's a drop box at the administration.
And yeah, that's what I meant. Okay,
Yes.
all right, thank you.
And so perhaps that's a good mentioning, Ms. Moore. Perhaps we can put on the website that there is a drop box. Because again, even though the district is closed, the district will still be getting mail, but people will still may want to do the drop box.
Ms. Pitts, you just have to make sure that first set of doors are custodian all separately, you know? And I don't believe that first set of doors are left.
No, they're not. They're usually
So it's a
locked.
drop box.
Right. So I think we should identify what days that custodial staff will be here. And on those days, we will make sure that doors, that at least that first set of doors is open, because the lockbox sits inside behind those doors.
So we can post that information.
Yeah, Mrs. Bull, if you would speak with Mrs. Pennell and find out what days they are on site, and we can set those days up for drop box. All right?
Thank you.
Any other names, Ms. Moore? Any other?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know if there's any in the waiting room.
None this time? Well, as we're done, as we'll give them 1 or 2 minutes to have the opportunity to call into it.
While we're waiting, I should have done this sooner, but I too want to thank Ms. McClain for her service and her leadership for the marketing committee. It's been a true pleasure. I'm going to get emotional, but I'm going to miss her being here.
Same.
This is Ms. McClellan.
no one in the queue? Okay. Therefore, at this time, board members are asking for a motion to adjourn our public comment portion.
Peterson, move for adjournment of public comment.
Ready, second.
Moved by Mr. Peterson, second by Ms. Redden, all in favor? Thank you. Moving now, Mr. Long for executive session, Mr. Long?
Thank you, Madam President. Yes, in accordance with the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act, we will be entering into an executive session this evening, I believe at 3, on December 22nd, 2021, at approximately 8:26 p.m. Of the items, 9 exceptions upon which we can exclude the public due to confidential private discussions. It would be matter 1, matters involving privacy issues as set forth required by state law, and that would be a special education matter, and the need for confidentiality is due specifically to student privacy laws. I would anticipate that we would be in executive session about 35 minutes, perhaps less.
No.
Maybe less than that.
Yes.
And doesn't this, I don't believe we'll be taking any formal action coming out from that.
Second,
Proceed with the motion.
okay, thank you, Mr. Long. Board members, at this time, I'm asking for a motion to approve our moving into executive session.
Peterson, move for, entry into executive session.
Ready, second.
Moved by Ms. Peterson, second by Ms. Redden. Roll call, please.
Mr. Blake?
Yes.
Ms. Redden? Yes. Ms. Martin? Yes. Ms. McCollum? Yes. Ms. Moore? Yes. Mr. Shaw?
Yes.
Ms. Peterson?
Yes.
And Ms. Hill?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. This concludes our public portion of this meeting. We will now move into our executive session.
Mr. Long,
No problem.